In this video, I'll be replacing the cabin air filter in my 2012 Nissan Pathfinder. Now to get at the air filter, you need to remove 5 screws. There's 2 on the bottom, and there's 2 that you can find just inside the lower glove box when you open it up, and the 5th screw is right behind this little plastic piece. So I'm going to start by removing the screws. I will start at the bottom left screw. You can go in whatever order you want though. And then I'm going to do the bottom right screw, then the top left screw, and before taking off some of the plastic pieces, I will remove the top right screw. So the piece of trim at the bottom, you don't have to take it all the way off. I just found loosening it was enough. And then the small upper plastic piece just kind of popped out without too much difficulty. I did not have to take out any other pieces of trim to get this job done. So the center piece, and you can see the 5th screw right there. And it is the last screw that I'll take out before taking the glove box off completely. So as you can see, once you get all 5 screws off, the glove box just sort of pops off. It doesn't fall right down. There's a small plastic clips, and I'm surprised to learn that my cover is actually duct taped on. I suppose whoever did it last broke the screw off, but that's okay. I have some duct tape to replace, and you can see the 2 air filters are in there. So you have to slide one out and then pull the other one over, and then slide the second one out. So there's the first air filter, and reach in, pull the second one over, and it slides out as well. Now, other than the missing screw, the other thing I noticed is these were installed upside down. You can see the airflow arrow pointing up, and that's actually the dirty side. It should be the opposite. And you can see that they are in fact quite dirty, so it's probably been more than the recommended interval since they've been changed. You can see the dirt banging upside down on the snow here. That's pretty gross. I found the second one wasn't nearly as dirty, but also pretty gross. So remove the duct tape, and you can see the bolt should go there, and I believe it's an 8mm bolt that goes in there, and it would attach here, but I don't have that going on. So there's the inside of the air box where the filters go. And I'll take the first one, and you'll notice the arrow should point in the downward direction. So the air comes in from the top and out through the bottom. So make sure your airflow arrow is pointing in the correct direction. Now to help me push the back corner in, I'm using a paint stir stick, but anything that you've got would work that's would fit in there and is about a foot or a foot and a half in length. And once the first one is seated, I'll then take the second air filter and just slide it right in beside it, and that is all there is to getting the air filters in the air filter housing. Now the other thing I noticed on this is that there's actually 3 little clips, and I only have 1, so I'm not sure who installed this last time, but they were obviously a little aggressive with it. I'm going to use some upscale Gorilla duct tape to fasten it in, and there you can see Gorilla taped all up in there, and it's not going anywhere, and it's not going to leak air, so I'm more than happy that we're good to go. So now we're going to put the glove box back on. So there's some small plastic clips. We'll make sure that those are on first so that the glove box is hanging there so that we can put the screws back on. And again, you can do this in whatever order you want. I'm kind of going in no particular order. I'm going to start with the top left hand screw, then the top right, Then sort of the far right screw that goes behind the one trim piece, the bottom left screw, and finally the bottom right hand screw. And then once all 5 screws are in, it's time to put the trim pieces back on. So first the light gray trim piece, which is sort of an intermediate piece. Definitely more difficult to do with one hand when you're holding a camera, but that's just, you know, how easy this job is. Anyone can do it. This thing just pops in, no issues. And then once it's fully clipped into place, I'm just going to use my thumb to pull the weather stripping over top of it. So no problem. And the lower one, it clips on just as easily. Shaky shot, but there's one little clip there that I popped off, and that's it. And once they're in, make sure the weather stripping is in place, and that's really all there is to it. And obviously I'll turn the vehicle on and marvel in the airflow. Now I paid $24 for this air filter, Canadian. The dealership wanted $45 for it, and they also quoted me at 0.6 hours for labor, so at $155 per hour. The Nissan dealer would have charged $105 for the labor, $45 for the parts, so that's $150 in total, which gives me a DIY savings of $125 Canadian. This took me about 30 minutes, even with shooting it, so it is pretty easy. Anyway, thanks for checking out the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe.